Okay, so this is my first time doing that. I don't know if you're supposed to say that when you're making a YouTube video, but it is what it is. I'm new here. I'm a newbie. And I'm also a junk journal enthusiast, I guess you should say. And I created this journal and I took off the belt slash the closure before and I forgot to put it back together. And I know people probably is going to skip over this part and that's fine. So this is me just putting it back on so you can see, you get an idea how it looks. I think it looks cute. Um, Try to get you back in range here. I don't know. Okay. All right. So it was a belt. I cut it off here. It looks like that on the back. It's made out of a file folder, manila file folder. And it has, this is some vintage, this is vintage window covering fringe. So, you know, you have those kind of shades that pull down. Back in the day, they had those kind of plastic shades that pull down, and this would go on the edge to make it decorative. So that's what I used in the front and the back. I can put the stuff that I used in the video as well if anybody's interested. I don't know. So this was a belt. It was a small belt. I don't know if it's leather. It smells like leather, but I thought it would go really nice. It has a nice little patina on the hook here, which is nice. This lady, and that looks like a 7. That's my favorite number. But this lady was on an old calendar, one of those wall calendars, and I figured she would look so nice on the front. So I put her there. She's all happy. She's grinning. And then we have some African cloth on the side. And I put this here just recently, and I probably need to glue it better. Because this was all just the paper, this paper. And I wanted to kind of support it because here you can have pullouts. And this is from a biblical book. I get a lot of my supplies, actually all of my supplies. If you saw my room, you would scream. But I get all of my supplies from the Goodwill bins. And a lot of times you find books that have been thrown away, that have been discarded. And everything's going to end up in a landfill anyway, or maybe overseas. So I just try to pick out all the old books that I see, and I know I'll eventually use them. These are some vintage buttons. This is some fabric. Again, this is some ribbon and another vintage button. And I'm pretty sure I got the vintage buttons from a craft reuse store in Virginia. So you open it up, and on the front page, you have a belly band. I hope I get these titles right. A belly band. And this is from a vintage book. And it says, At the left of the altar were the rotted drums. It's a book about, I think it's written about black customs in Africa. And I wanted to make this more of an African American or black journal that kind of reflects who I am, because you don't see a lot of them, so I figured I would make one. This is from a designer. I think her name is Sheila. I can't remember her last name. I'll put it up when I remember. But I love that she did these antique patterns. And these are some black guys playing some old-time basketball. These are black women being so regal and doing hair, looking into the Victorian mirror. Then on the back, they're dancing. That's, you know, black people joy. They have their boom box. I love that. But then it's like in Rome or something. They have their shoes off. Here they are again playing basketball. So I really love that, and I wanted to include it. This is from a book, an African book, that I just cut out some pieces. I know in one of these places, oh, watermelon. And I think I'm going to add a watermelon that I found at the bins to this as well. So that's the front. I cut this out of a book about Zora Neale Hurston called Jump at the Sun. It's her autobiography. Once again, it was discarded, so I just cut this out, Jump at the Sun. Then on the next page, we have this. Little boys planting. They thought that we were weeds, but we're actually seeds, right? And so we always come up and bloom. And then this is also from an African book with the lady jumping, jump at the sun. And I love this quote. It says, "This is my story, which I have related. If it be sweet or if it be not sweet, take some elsewhere and let some come back to me." And what that means is, you write down all your thoughts in your journal, sweet or not sweet. And then you take the sweet, you leave it. Some good will come back to you eventually. This is from Bibliophia. Bibliophia, the thick book of stickers. It says "Laugh and Grow Wise." And then on the back, this was from an old clock movement supplies box that I use. So you can use this for pictures or something, and then right here. And then this is some more beautiful art from an African book that I found. Here's little kids, and there's their hut, and there's all the beautiful imagery. So this just goes in here. You can write here. You can also write here with some stickers that I use, some stamping. There's also some stamping here. This was an envelope. And it closes. And then you turn the next page. And the next page is, this is some beautiful artwork from another book that I have. And then these were just stamps. This is La-Di-Da, Imagine. Stamp on the back. This is from an old card, 46th Street Theater. You're dancing up the steps. I love that. This is from I forget what this is called. It's not a cluster. I forget what it's called. If I remember, I'll put it up there. But I made this last year, I think it was. This is from an African book, the same one that this is from. I just cut out the mask. You can journal on the back. This originally was just an imperial box card, but then I embellished it with this beautiful African lady, black lady. It says "Lovely," and that's just a sticker. So that goes back in here. Then you turn the page. And I forget who I got this idea from as I was watching YouTube, but it's, you can flip it up. You can journal here. Then you pull this out. This is a Tim Holtz old report card. You can journal on the back. This is from a vintage book, once again, that I found at the bins. Then on this side, you have the same flip up, journal on the back. And then here is another journaling spot. Pretty pictures and journal there. Then you turn the page. I kept this kind of simple because I wanted you to be able to journal here but not have a lot of blank space. So, you see her tending her beautiful garden. Maybe that will give you garden of ideas to write. This is also from the African book, and this is from the clock supplies box that I just put on the edge. This is just a cute little cluster I got. That's a gaming piece with this funny little boy. My daughter has such a laugh looking at it today. Let me lift this up so I don't have to keep sliding it. Okay. These are just pockets. Cute little cat. Again, my daughter saw this and said, "I want a junk journal about a cat." Tucks there. So this would be called, I guess, a double pocket. I think I'm going to put some tabs on because it's kind of hard to get out. You have all these little faux pas that happen when you're filming. I guess I have to edit it out. I don't know. Who knows? But it's a picture of a flower pots and orchids. But yeah, I'm definitely going to have to put some tabs on that. And then I sewed around the pocket there. This is just a blank page. This is from a placemat. That's a sunflower. This is from a book. And I love how it has all the representation and the picture of the beautiful children. Imagine if that's actually how we raise our children. It says, "So let me sleep and let me wake." And then it has some other words. I got this from a book called Black Vintage. Once again, books that have been discarded at the bins. And this is from, two little journaling spots that you can use. The same African book, but this says "Rhythm Ain't All We Got" from the Black Expo. It's a pennant. I just cut it out. This is a beautiful image of women cornrowing, a woman cornrowing another lady's hair. Then this is just a little packet. My girl Josephine Baker on the back. You open it up with the brads. And then inside you have some, pretty sure it's 2 little journaling spots that you could use. Let's see if I can get these out. Oh, maybe I need to put tabs on these too, because they're not budging. Oh my goodness. Well, there's 2 journaling spots in there too. This was from an old train book that I got from the bins. Again, another blank spot. I don't know if I'm going to leave this blank or put something in it, maybe stamping, just so it's not just this blank page just following you. This is where I use embroidery thread, and I don't get that much play as I usually do when I do the wax, so I don't know if that's something that I'm always going to do. I'm going to put some glue there, some fabric tack. This was from an old postcard, not old, but just a postcard that I got from New York. These are just some stickers. This is from a book, and she's holding on to the balloons and also her cage. So you can kind of journal on the back. Some Monopoly money that I found. Turn the page. That's another picture of the representation with the children. I got this from an old book called This Is Our Land. These cute little birds and her babies. 2 more blank pages. Maybe you can use this for pictures. Here's another blank page. Tell me how you guys feel about just blank pages. Maybe I need to add something to that. Not quite sure. But I know that you want room to write, and I wanted to leave that. And since these are so thin, I didn't want to put any pockets or anything. So maybe just some stamping. So give me some advice on that. This is from a cute book about learning how to speak French. I love her hair. They look like Afro puffs. She has her little teddy bear, little piece of kente cloth. This is from a card, so I just tuck her in there. And then I love this little book. We love cats, so these are Cats and the Kittens. And then this is from an old music sheet, Baba Black Sheep, of course, because this is black, this is African American. Here's a little boy that was a playing piece. This was what I used. This was the box that this came in, the fringe, right? So this is like a long shade, and you can journal here. And then here's a little piece of whatever, you can use that to journal as well. Chocolate milk, a little drink cover. Then this is from a vintage book about visiting Haiti. So just pictures that I put right there. This is a piece from Tim Holtz. And then this is a card that I covered over, and it has images from Haiti and this cute little girl. So that just goes back in that pocket. And then at the end, we have this little bird. It's not black, but it just made me think of blackbird singing in the dead of night, right? And then you just open that. And then here's our little girl again, but this time she has a heart. Want to put something there that kind of, you know, closes it off. There's another bird. You can just right there. That's a little journaling card that you can use, and it goes back in the pocket. And that's about it. So be kind, be nice, put everything back together. This is my first video ever. I don't know how it's going to come out. But I figured you just have to like jump at the sun, right? You just have to jump in there and you just have to try. So that's me. This is my effort trying. If anybody has any feedback, if anybody's interested in it, let me know. I'm not going to call it a journal. Well, I guess I have to call it a journal, but I think it's more of a journalette. I like that word, journalette. I think it's more of a journalette, like for beginners, if you don't want to commit to so many thick pages. Because, I mean, I have them thick too. I also have this one that I made. I love this. I also have this one that I made, because this one matches that little wax seal so well, right? Out of a vintage book. And this one is thick, right? But I figured this might be just for somebody who's getting started journaling. There's that kente cloth again. So I didn't want to make it as thick, right? So it's like, you can go with that. That's a big commitment. Or you could go with that. You can go with this, or you can go with that. You can go with this, right? So I just figured I would call that like a little journalette because it's just one signature, not a lot of pages, as opposed to this, right? That's a commitment. Am I going to write that much? I don't know. Maybe I just want to get started with a little something, something. So that's my beginning. I hope you liked it. It's very short and sweet. It's only like, what, 15 minutes, and I'm going to have to edit it anyway. So, yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know your feedback. Let me know your thoughts. What you think should be different. How it should be improved. Just be kind, right? Be kind. The world we living in is not kind right now. So let's just be kind to one another. But if you're interested in that one, I sure enough can get it for you. All right, guys. Bye-bye.